Wayne. Great. So let's hear from you. What are you getting so far and what's next?
Donna?
So this is like a ye-ism from yesterday, use the tools to prepare your seminars, right? So the tools stand on their own, and I've been putting way too much effort into the beginning before I present the tool. And yet in every presentation, it's the tool that lands and is meaningful. So opening and closing is less important, nail the tools and all is well.
Nice.
Well put, boom, concise.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Good.
Anastasia.
I think my takeaways fall into two categories. One is I can be bold with the people that I'm coaching and seminar leading because they trust me.
Yeah.
And the skill I'm most interested in continuing to cultivate through the remainder of this year in SLP Phase 2 is just not backing off, continually being with the person each step of the way and just not backing off. That's the easiest way to say that. And realizing that my like Captain Planet gift is that people around me will respond to that. They will,
Yes.
that they will do what I ask them to.
That's
And
exactly.
support them too. And the other thing is I'm really excited about immersing myself deeper into the climate justice movement in Seattle and in ontology at the same time, so that ontology becomes more of a viewing point for strategizing around climate justice than like an external, I have a coach that I go consult with a couple times a month. And so there's a handful of action items I already have in process around that, and the one thing I'm excited to do is invite climate leaders from Seattle to come to MLE and at the same time be in the back of the room more frequently. And it'd be wonderful to be in the back of the room and be seeing people
Yes.
there who I brought, and that would be a way that I would love to deepen my study of ontology.
Brilliant.
One of the
That's
things.
how I learned
Yeah.
is I had a lot of MLE courses when I was in my ministry, and bringing people from my ministry to MLE, so there was a common language
Yeah.
and context for us in our leadership of the church. That was fabulous.
Yeah.
Really fabulous. I'm convinced it's what kept me in the same church for 20 years and it being mostly a honeymoon.
And Beth Ann, to realize how powerful that is, Unity ministers switch on an average of 18 months, 3 years, or 7 years.
Wow.
And there's a pattern. So be 20 years in one spot is probably epic.
Well, there's a few.
Yeah, there's a few, but it's an epic
Yes,
few.
it is. It's not the norm.
Yeah.
It was so great having Anastasia and Greg at MLE last week. Allison's at every MLE because she's on the course leader track at every course. But having there were many things that were great about it, but it just reminded me how much I want to encourage you all to be in the back of the room. I know some of you have, but as much as you're able to, and as much as Josh is able to fit you into the schedule, please, please, please apply to be in the back of the room. We just got our 2020 schedule figured out, so now's the time. In the next week, please apply, because there's no better way to master this than to see it led in an MLE course, and to put yourself yourself in a position of service for 4.5 days, where you are creating the ontological space for people going through what, for some of them, is one of the most important transformations of their life. So, really want to remind you all.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something about that. When Back of the Room became possible, I didn't know I wanted to be a course leader. That wasn't even part of my vision. It was that I wanted to be as masterful with the tools and of greatest service to my clients as a coach. And so I was so hungry for being in this space and learning all that there was to learn. It wasn't even a twinkle in my eye, the whole course leader idea. So you don't need to be called to be a course leader. It's just that you are so in love with the work and being a contribution to people. It was a no-brainer for me. So not only, probably 2 years into doing that, was I like, oh, I want to be in the front. But that's what originally drew me, just to share.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah, it's great. Wes, yes?
I'm seeing that I want to build my SLP practice into my spiritual practice in 2 ways. One of them is like, I see that I'm probably always gonna have like something I'm teaching or that's coming up. So I was thinking that even if I just added it to my like daily ritual to like put 5 minutes of practicing success or the green lens or whatever, just kind of like spend some time chunking it down into like the natural places where things stop and just kind of bringing that into just finding ways to make it more consistently a part of my life and part of where I'm focusing my attention. And the other thing is seeing that I really want to bring practicing the green lens to like the whole next level in my life. And yeah, like having it around in different places. I used to do this thing where in the mornings I would like practice Tonglen with people and just practice that, and I was thinking I could just do the same thing with the green lens, just kind of like call people to mind and kind of sit with them and the green lens and train my brain to really build that muscle of like gathering that kind of evidence. So I think like in my music and my SLP and my coaching and everything, like just practicing green lens. And the last thing is pausing and considering. It just feels really nice to have a very simple thing to develop that will make my life and my contribution better.
That's great.
I love what you're saying about the green lens practice. I know for me it's been training my brain for gratitude. That I read The Energy of Money probably 2010, 2011, and I've had a daily gratitude practice every day since then, and a notebook, a series of moleskin notebooks that's like a shelf on my bookshelf. That's my favorite possession I have is those set of notebooks, because every time I look at them, they just like radiate with the gratitude. And I've noticed how similar to what you're talking about with the green lens, how it's been, my brain is so good at looking for things to be grateful for now in a way that wasn't present nearly as much. And like, I'll be going through my day and I'll think, oh, this is such a moment to be grateful for. I can't wait to write this in my gratitudes later when I do my gratitudes, because my brain is good at gathering evidence for that. So the same is possible with any of these tools, and especially the green lens.
I've been making it so much harder than it needs to be.
No.
Say more.
I've had a course that I've probably had 50 to 100 people ask me to do that I haven't done because I would be a fraud if I taught it, because I'm not doing it. How brilliant my monkey mind is, and I haven't had success doing it. And there's always, Donna alluded to this earlier, is we want to do something new and bright and shiny and have something cool. You don't need any of that shit. Just go to the expired course.
Yeah, I know
Yes,
what
you
you're
know, it's
talking about.
exactly what we're talking about. And so I'm gonna go, and we've got like 4 big projects to work on, but before the end of the year, I will have the expired course redone. I have visions of it. I will also, Josh, first quarter next year, ELE, I haven't talked to Donnie yet, but I will be in the back of the room. Because for the first time, for the first time in the last 3 months, 4 months, we've been doing this since 2012, I get the structure and the flow of the concepts and the tools. And I understand exactly where the 4 boxes, and look, see, tell the truth, and take authentic action, where they fit in the flow and on the playing field and how to cross the border. And I think if I saw, because we did MLE 2011 or 2012, I'd like to see it again and then look at it in addition to the service and in addition to the experience, is to look at the structure and the flow as to how it's put together. And then, you know, why is this here and not in advanced coaching and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not sure I want to be a course leader. You know, there's a little bit of a spark, but there's not a burning desire. There's a burning desire to coach.
Good.
But I think, like Allison, that may develop into a flame. I don't know, but you won't know till you sit in the back of the room, right?
I didn't want to be a course leader.
Very clear.
Not on my travel brochure either.
Perfect, thank you, Mike. Who else?
I'm seeing how consistently I want to stay in this space, in the game of practice. So I'm really interested in having my SLP buddies join me in some sort of like a weekly, bi-monthly, let's just jump in and do our 15-minute of whatever it is. So I'm gonna put that out there. I invite you to join me in that.
Great.
Good.
I'm seeing that the next level for me is precision with the tools and being certainty with them. And that what I was talking about yesterday morning of having this sense for the many years that I've been doing this, that I've been bringing a lot of myself but not everything, that that's the gap that showed up when I was presenting yesterday. Like the gap that with which I'm living it is the gap with what is showing up in the, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
In your presentation,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So it's really cool to see just like there's no separation with which the way that I live this stuff and study it and know it and have it in my bones, how it comes out of me and is experienced in the world. And I was saying to my buddies, like there's like a moment when I think about that where I'm really embarrassed, but then like immediately after that it's so exciting because it just means that there's this like very obvious place to step into. So I'm excited to, I haven't entirely read MLE and I'm excited to like spend some time digging into that and putting more attention into diligent practice and finding ways to live it more.
Mm.
I know for me, I think Wayne as well, part of us getting this work into our bones was my first year and almost 2 years of training. I don't know how many Energy of Money books studies I led, but I led them for my sake because the fundamental principles were there, and I didn't even realize it, but it created for me the space to really be able to present the material because I was teaching. And it's like you can't teach and not deepen your own understanding, or you're not going to get anywhere with teaching people. And I think the last one I did, I had 46 people in an Energy of Money class in my last year of ministry, and it was phenomenal for me. So that stepping into seminar leader, which is more what I was called to, I wanted to do what you all are doing, became very easy for me. I just did, and like Allison, course leader kind of took me by surprise.
Were those Energy of Money book clubs, were they like in person or virtual?
Oh, in person, there was no
No
virtual.
virtual.
Virtual didn't exist.
Okay.
It's called Divine Ideas.
When Mike and I met, there was no email. There were no cell phones.
TV was black and white only.
No, TV was not black. But it costs a lot more to get a TV than it does today.
Wayne got me talking about computers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was not.
Mike taught me about computers. I had an office of 50 with one
Incomprehensible to you all, our
computer.
cell phone bills
50 people
were like
shared one
$900 a
computer
month.
when I
We were recording. I was in Hawaii, you paid per the minute.
Yeah.
You paid like 64 cents a minute, and it was very easy.
$800 phone bill.
Yeah.
We had to get married.
Yeah.
There's a whole different reason.
Isn't it funny to see the generation, you get $900 a month, what the hell, switch to Sprint or something?
Wonderful. So
Yeah,
who
even
else?
landlines paid
Who else?
Who else?
Yeah.
What are you getting for yourself? What are your takeaways out of these last 3 days?
I'm really excited about developing some offering based on our conversation yesterday that supports folks to see that they don't have to be in the urgency, cortisol, adrenaline mode all the time.
Yes.
Um,
Please.
and I've been invited to give a talk at the Rise of meeting, at my Quaker meeting in Pittsburgh in November, which I'm absolutely going to do for free given that audience and who they are. And I would love to invite them into an MLE book study framed around some tools for training your brain, you know, to be present outside of the urgency mode all the time.
Oh, good.
And inviting the Extinction Rebellion folks in Pittsburgh to do that, and invite some of the folks I'm working with in the Pulse Fellowship community in Pittsburgh as well into that. So that'll be late November. We already have a date, but I'm not remembering.
I just think, you know, I want to acknowledge y'all, everyone in this room, and the current, you know, most recent round of CTP folks have been so innovative with how to get this work out there. I mean, y'all were obviously giving you know, permission and encouragement to go really take the full body of work and run with it as trainers. But, you know, even what Greg and Daniel are doing, I don't know if you've heard about their book study that they're doing. What's it called again?
Crash Course for a Rewarding Life.
So we've got Crash Course for Rewarding Life, and what it is the MLE book study. And we've got how to shift your way of being from stress, cortisol, to, you know, fulfillment and ease as an activist, and that's just the MLE book study, right? and there's just so much creativity, even with just that, which we give anyone permission to do, because it's step by step. There's not really training that needs that happens as a part of that. It's just, you know, follow this format and people can get so much out of it. I just appreciate the marketing and business creativity and the service y'all are demonstrating in coming up with these ideas to take, you know, you're not marketing it as MLE book study, you're marketing it as here's the value you're going to get, which is brilliant marketing, and to deliver it, you say, we got this book we're going to go through.
Yeah.
That's going to produce this result that I've put forward in the world. So I just want to commend that creativity.
And I want to acknowledge Donna and Mike for signing up for the book study that we're doing.
Oh, great.
With
We're in his
so much
class.
experience, being such demands for coaching.
That's so
and
cool.
just be always immersed in every way that they
And
can.
one of my coaching clients signed up too.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's so nice, like last night we got in and someone in the Facebook group they had said, you know, what monkey mind might you be experiencing? And somebody wrote, I just want to quit. And I said, well, thanks for sharing, or something like that. Nice observation of your monkey mind, and nevertheless be willing. And it's so nice to be able to offer that support
That's great.
within the group, just to give it to them, you know. And I don't know if this person really wants to quit, or they were trying to be funny or whatever, but
Wow.
Great.
it's a nice course too. You guys can still get in.
I hear it's a good book.
Well,
I remember
Yeah.
an author by the name of Robert Fulghum.
Yes.
Everything I needed to know I learned in kindergarten. There's a way to hold this work that everything we do is either MLE, MLE Advanced, or MLE Light. It fits in one of those three categories because everything we needed to know we learned in those 4 days in MLE. Everything else is a variation or a deepening or an adjunct to that. And it helps me to see, wait a minute, this is not all that complicated. It's just taking that handful of tools and amplifying them and using them in different contexts.
That's great. Who else? Please.
One of my next steps that I'm seeing is being more aware of when I'm using the tools. And that really refocuses my attention on being in the game. And instead of trying to master the tool and then present it to an audience, to connect with my audience on the level of like, hey, I'm still using these tools and they still work. And I invite you along to use them with me. And working from that place creates just like, that's where I want to meet my participants. I want to be with them versus talking to them.
Right.
Yeah.
So great.
Nice. One thing I was interested to see for myself, what's next, and I invite everyone to look at this, is for me to expand into my next level of mastery. One thing that needs to happen is that my business grows. And so with these seminars, I'm excited to go out and start doing them and find ways to really bring in some money, because I'm seeing that having a breakthrough in that and making a lot of money in the next year doing this stuff is going to, in so many ways, just open the door for me to level up to my next level of learning and mastery and stepping up into this work.
Amen.
That be it.
That is the invitation for everyone in this room.
Let me live it.
It's more like a mandate for everyone in this room that you go make money using these tools. You know, whether you choose to continue on to year 2 or not, which, you know, we'll be talking about later, but it seems like a pretty good idea. That especially in year 2, that's something we're going to be focusing on. But even if you, for whatever reason, you see that's not the thing for you to do, in either case, be willing to go make money from this. Because, as I know you've all experienced, when you raise your rates for coaching, doesn't it put your butt on the line?
Sure does.
To really guarantee that you are coaching that person just with absolute precision, and that you're guaranteeing that they're really not just that we're coaching, that we're doing the steps of coaching, but that I'm consistently looking, am I giving them exactly what they came here to get? And every time, for me, I know it's been that way, every time I raise my rates, I'm like, you know, when I have a new client sign up at like the high end of my new sliding scale, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay, all right, I've got to really there's no messing around here. I've got to really guarantee value. And the same thing is what I appreciate what you're saying, is that that's true in seminars too. It's okay, well, now I'm really getting paid to do this. Okay, let me guarantee that they are getting that value, and that will up your mastery by necessity.
Yep.
May I?
Yeah, Marilyn and then Tina.
Thank you for saying that, and in support, I don't have it all down, I don't mean that, but the idea that really supported me in my coaching, taking it from a true business acumen into a coaching business acumen, was I'm not paid for my time.
Yeah.
I'm paid for the value that you receive. It's a completely different, it's a shift in what I charge. And it's an investment that they make. They're not paying, we're investing.
Yes. Thank you.
I have something else to say, but that just reminds me of a meme I just saw.
Nice.
That said something to the effect of, if I can, accomplish something in 30 minutes, you're not paying for the 30 minutes, you're paying for the 10 years it took me to learn how to do this in 30 minutes.
That's great.
For me, when I first started my consulting and coaching practice in January 2013, right around that time, or maybe even the month or two before that, as I was still unemployed, somebody wanted me to do some work. My background was in leadership and team development and training. They wanted me to develop some leadership material for them. And I said, well, I use these other models that are, off the shelf kind of thing, things that other people that have years of experience and research and all of us have developed. And the person said to me, but you have your own voice. And my chatter said, do I? Do I? And that has been like echoing around as I've been building my practice and trying to figure out what I needed, because my basic assumption is I don't know. And I got certified in another program, Intentional Energetic Presence has, there was a lot of it that spoke to me, but after I got certified in it, when I started trying to utilize it and practice it and even live it, there were elements of it that just didn't feel like they fit. And elements that did, and elements that didn't. And so I finally told the person who had created that program that I wasn't gonna continue. And she was very gracious and blessed me. And I said, I need to find my own voice, right? And when I found ACE, it felt like it was my voice articulated in a way that made really clear sense
There you go.
to me. And that this is true and authentic for me. So even though I didn't create it, it is me, right? And it's
That's
so
exactly
in
right.
alignment with what I believe that I'm so excited to be able to integrate that with my own voice of wisdom, and also to integrate with other tools that feel authentic to me as well.
Yeah.
And create something that is unique, that is my own voice of wisdom, that builds on the voice of wisdom of many other masters, because that's where it all comes from anyway, right? Everybody has others that have inspired them, that they have built on. So I'm feeling really good about that. And one of the things that I've gotten from this workshop is that I know, instead of the I don't know, I feel more like, yeah, I do know. And I still have more to learn in terms of how to effectively deliver this. And I'm so looking forward to the practice and building. And as I was listening this morning, I decided I'm going to organize a book club on MLE as a way of practicing this. So,
Yeah.
What a good idea.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, thank you.
One of the things that I am deeply grateful for and appreciating out of this conversation is that out of our 3 days, and we've got today also, but out of the 3 days, that you all are really seeing that it has to be the way you live your life, so that you're sharing what works for you rather than concepts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's, I think it's one of the,
We're good.
I think that's, for me, the most important conversation I am so grateful for hearing, because if not, you'll be a talking head. And not that being just a talking head is bad, but transformation is going to occur because it's occurring in your life as a result of this particular way of living your life. So that you're speaking from, you know the shit works. You know, it's not like I've studied it, this is an approach, but that you know that this really is, works, if you work it. So I'm thrilled that you're beginning to have that kind of realization for yourself. You know, where in my life do I need to up my game in terms of me living into what it is I'm bringing to others. And I know that, you know, in my 28 years or however long I've been in this, my life has changed. And the way I approach life especially the challenges that